Okay, welcome back to our new and improved now with sound game.
This will be cut for anybody watching it on YouTube. Hey, we watched a whole bunch of fights because we're in Blackrest now.
Yeah, you guys made it to Blackrest in the first half. Sorry about the sound being muted. That was on me.
Oops.
Made it back to Blackrest. You went to the fighting pits or to Frostbite Alley, where you thought that Mac's wife Sylvie might be. Sylvie. Get it? Anyway.
Is her name Silver or just...
Her name is Sylvie.
Okay.
Just Sylvie. And we're surprised to also see Ember in a disguise, but not a great one, an okay one. They fought each other. It came down to the wire. Sylvie won, and you guys are downstairs with Ember after the fight. She's getting patched up, but she's in good shape. And yeah, it's about where we left off. So you probably have a couple more minutes before Matt gets down there.
We're on Disney's media relations list now.
Awesome.
Cool.
Welcome, Disney.
Welcome, relations.
Yeah. I am free to direct one Marvel movie.
We'll deal with that later.
Yeah,
We'll
deal with that after the
that
game.
later.
Sorry.
But she looks at the clerics. After the clerics finish patching her up, it's the last night. Actually, after like a minute or two, the apprentice goes upstairs to check on Sylvie, and then you don't see him again. So he probably left, and the medic bandages her ribs and then leaves, and then the last cleric sticks around for a couple minutes, and then he goes to check on his apprentice, and he doesn't come back down. So at that point, you're alone, and it's before Mac can get down. And Ember's like, slow.
So we know where they're keeping him.
Do you?
Yeah.
How was fight? How was Oblitz?
A little bit difficult. Didn't die.
Could have gone better.
We didn't manage to kill it.
I
Someone almost got killed.
Someone technically did get killed.
she's
Yes.
in a lot of physical pain, so she doesn't actually clock your hesitance for a minute.
A little bit, just.
And she normally would get it, but since she rolled a 2 on the dice, even with her plus 12, it's not enough. Like, she needed a 15.
Do you have any goat?
She wasn't there for that. Was she?
Yeah, I have.
Actually, yes, she was. When we came, I was re-listening to old broadcasts.
She looks at you and she kind of smiles, and you think like you probably did something good. And she goes, "How fresh is goat?"
As old as the day is long. Hi! And I grab her.
She's like, but like very quickly recovers, and you find yourself in the middle of yet another very warm hug. Like, she actually likes physical quite a
I
bit.
kind of lean over to Brandon. Did you forget about the password as well for a second there?
Yeah.
We probably should be more mindful of that.
Yeah.
And she whispers in your ear.
For a second,
She
I
whispers in your
completely
ear
forgot
before.
that
She says,
existed.
I'm so proud of you. You made it through a fight." And she's
we had another companion who helped us out a lot. Her name was Azra. She's Azra. She's very nice. She's got very beautiful hair. She's very smart.
she's gonna roll that again. She's not gonna like out you or anything, but she's like, hair is good.
She's very pretty.
And she looks and she's like, not Copper Trails. Copper Trails was I thought Daniel said someone else maybe. You were referred to the old.
Oh yes, Mr. I forget his name. He was
Mr. Sour Blanket.
awful.
Sour blanket.
Aye, you've never heard the
Mr.
term.
Botham. He was such a dick.
You know how unpleasant a blanket is if it's gotten wet and it gets kind of moldy and nasty? Think of that as a personality. And that's a sour blanket.
Ah, okay.
Wait, what did you say? Sour?
A sour blanket.
Wet blanket.
I've always heard it a sour blanket.
Neither one sounds good.
Octavia is
they both
extremely
sound
familiar with the term wet
distinctly.
blanket.
Oh,
Burn!
that was my nickname in high school.
Truly was. But
So what are you doing here? Is the king here? Have you found the king? Do you know
We
where he is? Is it?
have not. And she's just kind of like, after you go on for a second, like, interrupts you, kind of glances at you. She's like, we have not. I am here. It seems ridiculous being fighting pits. If you are encouraging people not to fight, then maybe sometimes you have to prove you're not scared of fighting.
Ooh, yes.
She's like, in quite a few people, so on nights when things haven't happened, I've only been here 3 days, but when things not happen, I just wait. And so far I have found not a lot of information.
we
but
found where the tree
We found
Where
where
the
the
king-
king is.
the king is.
We did find a tree too.
she goes, she straightens up and she's like,
I was literally flipping through notes and I came across the word tree, so that's just the next sound that came out of my mouth.
it's
That's
very
the first
Octavia
thing
though.
she saw.
And she kind of straightens. She's like, did you find from Oblex?
Yes.
Yes.
Very impressive. Where
He's in
is
the
he?
Dormer Mines, which are north of here, I think.
Yes.
They're in the mountains.
The Dormer mines are like, they are, they don't mine out of them anymore. They're abandoned. They just, they're newer Dormer mines, but the family name has changed since then, and whatever, who owns it. And now, like, they're renaming all the mines anyway because they don't want them to be named after Lacros nobility. So
Yeah.
they're renaming them, but basically, like, they mined the mountain for what it was worth, and that was one of the earlier mines, and nobody mines in there anymore. And she's like, okay, do you know from what holds or anything?
No idea. Just location.
Just gonna go and, hey, are you there? That's we don't have much of a plan.
Maybe slightly more.
Maybe a little bit more stealthy
A
than
little
that.
bit.
A little,
Yeah.
slightly more subtlety.
But we have somewhere to stay tonight. I hope.
We should be able to stay with my family. If not, there's an inn. There's an inn.
There are inns on every tier. The bottom one, I think I forgot to put what it was called because I forgot what it was called last night. But on the top, the uppermost tier, there's one called Fool's Rush Inn. I'm very proud of that. Kind of both a reference to, like, mining, or no, you don't mine gold, but mining and stuff. And it's pretty rough. It's pretty loud and whatever. The one in the market tier is called Inside Job. And it's actually a mixture of, like, a platform where you can find things to do and people to work for, but there's also rooms. So is a little more like of a hostel type of place. They have some private rooms, but, like, it's a little more communal. And Ember tells you she's staying at Inside Job because you'd hear more about what's happening.
Well,
And then she's like, well, I'm staying at Inside Job. You are welcome to stay. Is your family here?
yes, they are.
Are you...
I do wish to drop in on them.
Okay. She's like, well, I have meeting. I will be at Inside Job.
Very well.
And
You maybe see us.
It's still pretty early. It's like 6:45. It was probably 7:30 by this
At this point, I'm questioning if I should bring them to see the family.
It is up to you.
Yeah, I was
But
supposed to-
she's gonna go back, and she's like, I don't eat before the big fight. I will eat. Do you want me to? I will be there. And Octavia, roll an insight check for me.
17.
She's trying to give you your space, but be very available. So you don't feel abandoned when she makes pretty fast. She's about to leave, and then Mac and Sylvie come downstairs, and Mac is just beaming, and Sylvie's holding, she's got Dash on her shoulders, and she's holding Benji in one arm, and she's just kind of sparring, goofing off, and hitting back and forth the doll with her other hand. And yeah, and so Matt comes down, and he's like, I would.
French and Russian is fun.
It's hard, dude. Everyone, this is Sylvie. Sylvie, this is Brana. That was cocked. Roll a deception check.
Well, let's see how much my dice hate me.
I'll get the dunce chair ready.
Not bad. It's not good, but not bad. 17?
18.
God! I won't put that in the dunce chair. That was...
17's not bad.
Yeah.
With it, who has the highest passive perception or passive? What is it?
Perception?
17.
You notice that Mac whispers something in Sylvie's ear, and she comes forward. She slides her hand from your elbow to your hand, so she plays along basically, and shakes your hand. She shakes all of your hands, and she says, she goes, "Thank you so much for bringing my husband. And my boys. I'm so happy to see all of them."
Of course.
It was our pleasure.
I see where they get their warrior spirit from already.
She's like, "It was so fun. She's so good. It's been a long time. She's so good." And she looks at you, and she claps. Your robes are similar, and she goes, "Are you from the same order?"
The same order, yes. The Kestrel Dawn.
She's so good.
She is.
It was a lot of fun. Yes, thank you. Thank you. And they all sit around. They talk for a little bit. Matt's gonna invite you 2 days from now to their home to have dinner if you want, if you're around, if you can. And but they make their excuses pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And they head out. So not tonight, not tomorrow night, but the third night. When you're saying goodbye, Benji reaches out for you, and you're
Give a big hug.
you look over.
Look at how hot girl is.
You look over at Sylvie. You see nothing but joy that her husband's here. That
Oh, yeah.
clear. It's a very close and very supportive family unit.
You have a beautiful family, a beautiful child.
She kind of actually blushes and gets shy for the first time. She's like, "Thank you so much. I'm happy they're here." And Dash and Doll come up to you and ask if they can hit your hammer on the ground one more time to show their mom.
Of course!
And Dash rolled a 3.
Oh.
So he does it, and it's not that hard, but his form is still okay, and his mom is still proud of him.
I instantly like that. 99% of the time he has done it very well.
Doll, in spite of being behind a little bit on this curve, usually he rolled a 19. And he's a fighter. So that's a crit for him.
Hey.
And he smashed the fuck out of it. And Dash is normally I can do that though.
He's just too excited
And,
to see his mom.
yeah, and they hand it to you, and they're very
And I'm very proud. Probably pretty proud.
yeah. They got really touchy-feely as soon as their mom was back in the picture, and so they run around, they give everybody hugs, and Matt comes over to each of you, and he's like, "Can I give you a hug?" And he gives all of you a hug, and Sylvie's like, "I'm so happy to meet you. I hope you'll come in a couple of nights. Our home's not guest ready, but we still do food pretty well.
If we're still alive.
Okay.
You know,
That's pretty bleak.
everyone, the more I think about it, you should probably stay in the inn with him before the evening.
You don't want us to meet your family?
It's not that. It's more of, I don't know if I want them to meet you all.
Are they going to eat us?
Possibly. I'm kidding.
Taste of chicken.
I would like to
Chicken
speak with
taste of
them first, just to, of course, make sure that everything will be okay. But
Well, you did say that they're rougher than you are.
perhaps the introductions could be made a bit later. But I would like to go see them, and I may possibly be joining you at the end. Either way, I'll be ready for departure in the morning.
How will we know? You come to the inn?
Yes,
okay.
I will come to the end.
You're gonna go up on the mining tier and then up, so the inn's on the way easily anyway.
Right. So
Okay.
I'm gonna go. I'm going to go see the family.
I understand.
Thank you, my
I
friends.
think.
And I hope to see you again. Before we depart.
I should hope so.
Okay. With that, I'm gonna head over to the Dragonborn side of the house. So.
Okay. With that, Ember, she's gonna take she has a meeting at the inn, but she walks there with you guys. And she says, before she goes off to her little thing, she's like, this is very, nope. She goes, this guy is nervous, so I would have you in meeting. He is nervous.
Maybe
Yes.
hang out outside.
She's
Just
like,
at
she
another
gives you her room number, and she's, this is where I'll be if you get very nervous, but should be less than 1 hour. Just
Are you meeting in the inn, or should we not?
Where should we
Should we
be?
not go into the inn? Should we stay out, or should we go into the inn and not stay out?
you arrive at the inn, and you notice like it is a large inn. It is pretty trafficked.
Okay.
So
We're just gonna
you
go
think as
hang
long
out
as
over
you
here.
stay in the like tavern
Yeah.
section, you can't clock for sure who she's meeting with, and that seems
Cool.
fine with her.
Yeah, we'll go have dinner.
Yeah, so you get there. You guys have been there about like probably. Well, she grabs a bite with you really quickly, but she eats fast and heads back to her room. You've been alone for not more than like 15 minutes when Daniel wanders in, and you kind of look and go ahead and the three of you roll a investigation or insight check.
Sorry. No, you're good. I just threw it.
Allie the dice.
Yeah.
21.
And what was it? Investigation or insight?
Yep.
24. I'm good at like 3 things, but I'm really good at those.
Okay, so all three of you like look. You look
Sorry.
over, and the first time like you think that you glance over him, you don't even clock him as a person, and then your eyes are scanning back the other way, and you're like, wait, is that
wearing
the
a gray
guy
tie.
that like? Is that the?
That's
Wow, that's a superpower. Because all of you like talk to him pretty extensively, and you're still like, it could be.
Yeah.
It's like recognizing somebody that you saw play a 1 episode arc character on a show that you like. You're like, it could be somebody I know.
Is that Daniel?
I think that's.
But like when he
does
sees,
he go up the same route that she did?
no, when he sees you guys, his eyes kind of brighten. He comes over, and like he sits down. Soon you guys are chatting like old friends.
Okay.
He fills you in that they figured out very quickly that the decision to fight wasn't going to take place on the border. That the decision to fight probably would take place here if things got out of hand. So he had talked to a few people on each shift and handed out a couple of sending stones to get in touch with them if they found like a body or anything turned up on the border, and then they came here. So that's why they're here.
Can I, because she went upstairs, Ember did, right?
She went, it's, she didn't, you didn't see where she went. Like the in part, the rooms are very much like separate because they also have like commerce kind of going on with the, like a jobs
so
board
there's
and
no
stuff.
way to see. I'm trying to see who goes.
There's nowhere. It's a very highly trafficked. It's pretty close to the gates.
Okay.
And there's just, you can roll, if you're trying to see, you can roll and investigate, but short of like a nat 20, you're not going to clock which one.
So you said a nat 20. How does a 4 with a +1 modifier hit you?
You're sure that she's meeting with 12 different people.
Yeah.
Because you keep being like,
I
that
keep
one,
writing down
definitely.
everybody that goes
This
into the
one,
room. Got
Definitely.
it.
And you think it's weird because if there were 12 other people, why couldn't you be there? Shifty. Alibra, you take off as you start to head down. Like the bottom tier is the same. It doesn't have a pulley system. It just has the stairs. How do you think Alibroth feels as he takes off? Like, he's spent a lot of time walking around kind of by himself in this city. Just because you do, as one does. You grew up here. What does it feel like?
Weird to be home again, I guess, after being gone for a while, but, still want to check in with everybody.
How do you feel about seeing your family?
I'm wondering how they feel about me, considering I've been gone.
So,
and since this item wasn't supposed to work, like, does they just expect me to fail and come back, or
like, you find yourself wondering, like, you have a weird family dynamic anyway, because first of all, you have never seen Dragonborn have children that doesn't look like one or the other of their parents. Like, your family makeup is really strange. And also, that typically chromatic dragons, black, red, and blue, tend to favor more chaos, more anger, more rebellion, whatever. But
Mom don't approve.
the dynamic's a little bit switched around here because it seems like they coddled, your mom kind of coddled a little bit Ilrock and Mithid, the red and blue. And that outside of, as you went like north, people seemed more taken aback by a large green dragonborn, but it seems like they expected you to be a little more bitey than you were. But yeah, you probably don't know. You reflect on how when you left, you killed a bandit thinking it was a theater show, and you just wonder, like, how many. It feels all of a sudden you feel very like grown up. How many other things were like right in front of you that you missed? You're the only one who has left completely. Like, the others, probably your two of your brothers and your sister, maybe even both your sisters, have gotten married and had a kid. They eat dinner together most nights because they're still in that little section. But you notice the kids look like one of their parents or the other.
Okay.
And it just feels weird. So do you go, what do you do? What kind of house, like, I'm going to leave some of this up to you, like, how big of a house, or what kind of...
I expect it to be pretty big. Like,
do you think they had like a little courtyard with a few houses around it?
probably a cluster, yeah.
Okay, so there's a cluster. There's some of those outside like heaty light things.
Probably like the large common yard or whatever.
Yeah, they like to sun They cook over a lot of fires and stuff. And you, right when you get there, actually, like, you guys usually eat pretty late, I guess. And right as you get there, the first thing you see, you walk into the courtyard and your house is like at the back at the left. And they kind of built some additions onto it for other family. But your brother Ilrak is using his breath weapon to light the fire in the fire pit in the center of the courtyard to make dinner. And I'm gonna see if he notices you. He doesn't notice you right away.
Oh, well, as I step into the courtyard, Ilrak!
He kind of like straightens up, and he is 7'1". He's the only one that's taller than you of your siblings, but 7'1". And he looks up at you, and you just get a new like appreciation for just how big he is. And you're unsure at the reception for a second, but he comes forward and he stands right in front of you, as he always has, like a little too close, and he looks down and he goes, "You have some nerve showing your face around here." And just as he does, Mitted clotheslines you. Like, it just tackles the crap out of you, and just as she does that, it's clear that Ilrak saw her, and he bursts out laughing.
They zigzagged me.
There was just a split second, though, like, where you actually feel, like, terrified, and then you relax a little bit. They're goofing off, to some extent, at least. And, she's the next youngest, and when there's a younger girl in a family, sometimes they're not aware of how much damage they can do as they get older. And so, like, she reaches up and playfully, like, punches you in the face, but she doesn't realize she's more of a grown-up now.
Yo,
And
your
actually
hook has
does
gotten
hurt.
better.
And she laughs, and she's like, "He got you!" And she gets up and high-fives him.
I give him a shove. Jerk.
He laughs and he goes, "Welcome back! Hey, you showed up still alone, I see."
Not quite, my brother. I came with company, but I wasn't sure how they'd be received. So
He leans over to his sister and he goes, "Do you see anyone else here?"
yes, they're invisible, brother. Cast a spell right before we came through. There's one behind you now as the spell wears off.
He's like, "Nice try. I'm not looking." But he does kind of. Not gonna be that easy. And he's like, "Well, yeah, come in.
How's the family?
And he goes, same old. Now that things have died down," he's like, "it's just me right now. What is her name? I had her name.
Which
too.
one are you looking
His
for?
wife.
Oh,
actually.
I didn't.
Yeah,
You
no,
came up
I
with
made
those.
it that one. Anyway, he says, the wife is not here now that things have slowed down, and his wife was from one of the smaller villages elsewhere, and he says now that things have slowed down, she took the baby to meet the grandparents, basically on her side.
Ah, yes.
And he's like, "But I could not go, so."
Sadly, this is a short visit for me as well. I am adventuring with a band of very interesting people that I've met.
I'm so glad it wasn't hooligans.
Yeah.
We seek the king.
He's like, "You and everyone else."
Well,
I mean, I haven't looked, but
well, we may be getting there.
That is interesting. This band, do you actually fight together?
Yes, actually, they are quite adept at it.
Okay.
One's a genasi hunter, wind, all about it. Just out of nowhere.
They have a couple fire genasi's down there, but like those were the only genasi that you'd ever seen. He's like, "Huh, interesting."
Another blind, but quite stealthy.
Roll deception check. Oh, he actually got an 18 on the die.
Oh, well, this is gonna suck because he has like no 6.
He's like a blind fighter.
He's got a trick or two up his sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You've not gotten better at deception,
No.
my brother.
Terrible liar.
Anyone else?
And a fighter, this monk. She is quite adept. Could probably take one of ours.
Really?
Oh, she is quite capable.
It's like there's a monk who's been at the fighting at Frostbite Alley sometimes.
Yes, they may be familiar with each other. Also, just bear with her personality. It's a bit should you ever meet a bit erratic, but good people nonetheless.
Mitted, who knows, like, I don't know what Alabroth's entire sexuality is, but knows that you're attracted to women, at least.
Yeah.
Is like, do you have a girlfriend?
Oh, no, she's no.
No, any girlfriend. Still haven't met a woman. Okay.
Well, I met someone I wouldn't mind getting to know a little bit better. Should I, live at the end of this adventure?
Okay.
But nothing serious, no.
So bleak.
No,
I know.
no real interest, if we're bringing that up. As soon as I get here. Typical.
Okay.
Where's mother and father?
Well, and Dad, your dad is kind of the head of the security for the mines, I think, probably.
Ah, okay.
Like,
He's
he works day shift most of the time, but he also pretty routinely, at least once or twice a month, like, will take the later shifts just to make sure that all the measures are in order.
Right.
And she says, yeah, he's working early night. He'll be late tonight. Like, there's a lot to get done. I guess they're trying to figure out what to do with the rest of the security. There's not so many like Crosians or whatever about.
Business is business, understood.
And your mom works as like, she works doing kind of a, like, she makes spices, basically. She dries spices and grinds them and whatever and sells them, but like hers is more of a hobby. She did stay home like while you guys were growing up to teach you like survival skills. She's a ranger basically. She's very good at it, and she's kind of retired, but teach you skills. It's like, but yeah, or your sister's like, no, mom's here. She's inside. She's cooking the rest of the dishes.
Gotta go say hi to mom then. Who's, hopefully is okay. You'll excuse me, brother. I'm just gonna go speak to mother.
He kind of punches your shoulder and he goes, so formal. Absolutely. And you head inside, like, you know that you haven't gotten taller since you left, and you also know that you only left like a couple months ago. Like, but it does feel smaller almost as you walk in. Like, the whole thing is it just isn't as grand. Like, your city still kind of takes you back with how impressive it is as far as scale goes, but this home, it just seems kind of like small but nice. And you walk in, and your dad was pretty hard on you growing up, but you are the only one who has any resemblance to your mother. Like, you have black kind of underneath a lot of your scales,
right.
And some of them are black. And so she always had a little bit of a soft spot for you, even though, like, she would never stop you guys fighting or scuffling or whatever. But you walk in, and she's taller than your dad. She's about like 6'5". And you walk in, and she's sitting there, and she's got a massive pile of bunny rabbits that she's skinning, just one by one, and spicing and putting a spit through to roast. And she looks up and she goes, Alabroth,
Hello, Mother.
And she gets up and she gives you a hug and she's like, you're safe. You're here.
I've missed you, Mom.
Yes. She's any type of affection that you expressed out loud. Your parents were always kind of like, yes, that. And she's like, are you done with your adventures now?
Is it ever really over? No. I'm adventuring with some people, and
she kind of glances behind you, and you clock, kind of looking out to see if they're there.
I was wondering how they would be received, and didn't want to bring them in quite yet. Just prepare the family for visitors.
Roll an insight check for me.
Insight, it's 19.
You spent your teenage years here, and you're still pretty young, and you can't believe it's never occurred to you that maybe some of the tension and stress was a lot more about being occupied from Northerner taking the resources, and they seem a little more relaxed all of a sudden, and you wonder how much of it was that you didn't fit into your family, how much of it is stress from external factors, like your dad running security for a mine that's constantly being pillaged by the Northerners, and it seems a little bit easier now. People seem a little less uptight, and you always assumed it was because of you that they were uptight.
Would you like to meet them?
Sure.
Think it'd be okay if they came for dinner? They will require most of their food to be cooked, apparently. Fully.
She's like, tonight? And she looks, and it is a massive pile of rabbits, but you're a massive family. And you can see, she's just a little concerned about right now.
Is this not a good time?
And she's like, if they're here, we'll make do.
They don't eat a lot.
Okay.
I'll get them. I'd love for you to meet them.
Okay.
I'm gonna go running out, and on the way out, I'm gonna push Mythic. Actually, I'm gonna go running out. Be right back, but come back with.
Roll an attack roll.
Roll a shove your sibling roll.
Mm-hmm.
Not a great roll.
I miss. It's a 2.
She dodges out of your way, and you're actually pretty impressed. She's gotten a little
9.
quicker. She's on her game. And she looks up at you and she goes, "It's not that easy."
Noted. I'll have to try harder.
Yes, you will.
Kind of go butter on that. We'll see how inflict wounds feels on that.
You feel like, as you're
jokingly under my breath.
That's always how it goes with
yeah.
siblings. And I was like, I didn't punch him in the arm. I think I'll stab him.
you feel like a weird sense of camaraderie. You feel included. You wonder if sometimes distance is good for family, and you wonder how much of that is the
miss
case.
Everybody now. Okay. It shouldn't take me long to reach the end.
It takes about probably, it depends on how fast you're trying to go.
I'm hurrying.
Okay, then it probably only takes 10 minutes to get back. But so then that retcon everything happens a little earlier.
Yeah, I figure we're
you guys
halfway through our meal, maybe.
Halfway through your meal, and you're talking to Daniel, and he's just managed to catch you up on the details when Alabroth gets there.
Okay. Yes, so I don't.
You walk in. It takes you a second to locate them. But
Probably just. You guys!
You remember Daniel?
Oh, God, Daniel. Good to see you.
roll it. Now, because they say you remember Daniel and you realize you hadn't even seen him. But you were
in disguise when I met him.
and he's like, "This is my face."
Just the first part of the Princess Diaries.
Everyone, would you like to come have dinner with my family?
Yes!
It'll be better than here.
Yeah, because like
come-
it's in food. It's never very good, is it?
I mean,
Yeah, this was
Yes,
hot.
please.
It's the
Yep.
it's the Little Caesars of food. Just it's hot and it's ready.
But they don't have crazy bread. They just have the gross.
I'm clearly like excited because I want them. Oh,
Is it good? It's hot.
just be prepared to dodge. Just anyway, let's go.
Always.
Daniel looks at you all and he's like, I got this. Don't worry about it. Like,
You want to watch it?
he's paying for the food.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Daniel's like, you've noticed in the last 10 minutes he has a personality. He didn't really the first time
What?
because he's just traumatized AF.
Also, to keep up appearances, just because I'm used to Brana, I kind of like go from like leading to possibly like
Did you just pick me up?
like, just
Dragging quarters.
No. Dragging's rude.
Yeah.
Well, I just
Drag
showed you
the dragon's
the height
dragon.
difference.
Yeah.
Definitely
They're
good.
just
he
under his
might
arm,
be
like-
back.
Yeah, probably. Anyway,
You know that, like, the room would be a little taxed for them to stay, although they probably could. It seems like it'd be a little taxing to find space, like physical space, because they're grandkids and stuff.
well, apparently, like some of them out of town, so
Yeah,
it work now. That's
that
what
is
I'm saying.
true.
Yeah.
Like, you could probably split them out and distribute them to different houses. But anyway, but Daniel's not that worried about it. He just glances at you and he says, if you guys are headed out in the morning, I guess, like, yeah, stop by here if you're headed up. And then you guys take off.
I'm kind of like very happy. Like,
I'm just
cannot
running
wait for
to
you to
keep
meet
up.
them.
Yeah,
Like,
I was like,
if Albrand's moving
Brana's
quickly,
being
we're
dragged along.
dead
I'm
running.
I'm like under his arm, like
I'm probably describing and telling them the siblings and everything and names and.
I will not
you're
remember
not some
any
red
of that.
dragon.
all of it's going in one ear out the other.
It's not gonna help.
It's like, I mean, Cass and I come from a family exactly this size, actually. Same makeup of brothers and sisters. So, it's that. It's exactly that. If they just know you,
Oh, they never.
never.
Yeah, I'm probably just giving them basic descriptions of who they're going to encounter. And
Our
names
family has
and-
4 boys and 2 girls. And so does Alabra. It's the exact same makeup, and she
Oh,
knows.
It's the
Nice.
same order?
No.
Okay. That would be wild.
Almost. Brother, sister, brother, brother, sister, brother.
I had no,
No, I
idea
just
what your
didn't
makeup
know
was.
what y'all
That's
meant
so
by
crazy.
what y'all were saying.
I meant how much people could retain.
I rolled
if
dice
you-
to decide who.
if
I
you
was.
just-
I've had friends
I've
that
met-
I've known for almost a decade that couldn't tell me all my siblings.
I've met 2 of your siblings, and I only remember Cameron's name.
Yeah.
The other one, I know I've met him more than once.
Kyle.
I don't remember his name.
yeah.
Kevin,
Is
I
it?
think.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
Kevin. It was Kevin.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, anyways.
Anyway.
But yes, that's exactly
So the whole way I'm I tell them the colors of dragons, and after we get kind of out of sight, I'll just kind of sorry, bro.
No, I was enjoying it. I didn't have to do anything.
You guys haven't seen Alabama, this, like,
Don't-
weirdly...
Huh?
I mean, you've seen him weirdly giddy over the Jessica thing, but this is, like, different. But
Hopefully.
almost that same energy of, like, that went better than I thought it would.
So yeah, we make it back to the courtyard, and I kind of just yell out, "They're here!" and start proudly announcing my friends here.
I'm going to...
So is it still just Ilrak and Mythid and Melter there? Just Mom, Bro, and Sis.
Let's
Or is
see.
anybody
They
else
tell
arrived?
you that your oldest brother, Cramrick, is,
Oh.
all of them are coming back late tonight because they also went to see in-laws that are from another small village.
Okay.
Like, the biggest place by far, you guys don't have a capital yet in Rextera, but, like, everybody knows it's going to be Blackrest. It's the largest city. The most commerce goes out of it. But anyway, your brother's in-laws are from, like, a kind of a coastal town a little further south. and he has 3 kids, all under 5, that his in-laws probably haven't met. So,
Okay. Well, who's ever here, you'll meet them. But I probably just make introductions very rapidly and excitedly.
You're gonna have to say it out loud.
Oh,
Go ahead and make introductions.
Everyone, this is my brother Ilrak.
Where is he?
He's
what's everybody always asking?
older. He's older.
Older than you?
Yes.
Are
Ilrak,
you the youngest?
I am the youngest. Yeah.
Oh, you're just a wee bab.
This
then.
is in character, by the way. She's
Ha,
writing
ha.
everything down.
Yeah. Ilrak, my hilarious friend Brana here.
He looks really close. He's like, I don't see it.
I am also staring at Brenna like,
Trust me,
are you funny?
you don't want to see. Anyway,
I can't be.
my friend Ronnie and Ajnasi, who's also a ranger and very adept with the bow. And of course my warrior friend, the monk known as Octavia.
Hello, I'm from the Order of the Kestrel Dawn. It's nice to meet you.
If you're known as Octavia, do you have another name?
No.
I have a surname, yeah.
You know that she's known as Octavia because it's stitched into all her clothing.
And of course, my sister Mithid.
What a square.
I look at her and you want to attack no one?
This,
What?
She's
Mithid?
like,
Mithid?
smallest?
she looks at you and she's like, it's really cute when the baby tries to boss everybody around.
Hello.
No clotheslining. They're not as robust.
That's what I've got so far.
Sure. Just as like you say that, she looks kind of behind you guys and her eyes kind of light up and you recognize like her longtime girlfriend comes in and she runs over and she just kisses her cheek and asks her how her day was. It's also a dragonborn. She's
Do
a
Dragonborn have lips?
sort of
Kinda, yeah.
close enough. Just an open mouth. Goes straight in. Is like a
So that
pretty rare, but a Triton. Blue skin also, but not scales.
What's your name?
What?
Sorry. Hello, I'm Octavia. You together, do you have a name that I could have?
Presumably she does have a name.
Just trying to figure out the...
Everybody's thrown by Octavia.
But they've been together long
I
enough.
just
I know
wanted
it,
to,
right?
like,
She
like the
recovers.
situation.
Pretty quickly, and she goes, River. My name is River.
It's a beautiful name.
It's a lot of water where I'm from.
But they've
so-
been together long enough that I know they're.
You know
Okay.
her. They
Of
were.
course, then I agree. River, good to see you again. How have you been?
She's kind of taken aback by your you have a more confident than you were when you left, and she goes, same old, just underwater basket weaving.
Keeping this one. Attempting to keep this one under control.
She kind of looks at her and she winks at you and she goes, so much better when she's not in control. But yeah, clearly they're stable as they have been for a couple of years.
What an icon.
What?
What an icon.
But yeah, like, as soon as she walks, Mythid's not being rude, but forgets all about you. She's clearly, like, emo eyes at this girl.
Yeah.
And, you guys head inside the house.
As we go. Mother?
She's, you didn't see her for a second, but that's because she's behind a giant pile of Dragonborn eat a lot.
Yeah. Actually,
But
well
nobody
fed.
likes the taste of rabbit fur, though you can eat one whole. It's not your favorite,
Right.
so she's skinning them. She has them spiced, and she does have kind of an apron on, so she wipes her hands off, and she's like, "Hello, welcome."
Hello.
Everyone, this is my mother, Meltia. Mother, this is Rana,
It's a pleasure to meet you.
Octavia,
Hello.
and Ronnie.
It was nice to meet all of you. Thank you. Did he hire you to travel?
I actually hired him originally to help with a situation,
Sure.
and we've been traveling ever since with the strong guys.
She kind of at all of you, and you realize that as far as pure actual physical strength goes, everyone you've seen since you got here could take most of you out.
That
But
irony
just
is not
strength.
lost on
Like-
Octavia.
And she goes, of course you are. Would you like some wine?
That would be lovely.
I,
she-
I go to get it.
Yeah, she was going to have you get it anyway.
Yeah, she probably gives me that look like.
Yeah, like, get on your chores.
I kind of step forward a little bit. Mom, do you need help? Ma'am, do you need help? I can help prepare anything if you'd like.
And she's kind of like smiles, and she likes the deference. It's nice. And she goes, oh, no. She's like, if you'd been here several hours ago, maybe, but like, we're done. And she goes, but you can, and she takes a burlap sack, and together the two of you pile all the bunnies onto it.
Yeah.
And take it out for Ilrat to take over. He's pretty good with a fire.
I probably, as I'm getting them wine, and after I've done it, like, wait a minute, I got tricked into doing this. But yeah.
You're technically the host for us now.
When you put it down, you notice that she quickly prestidigitates both of your hands to be clean.
She was extremely worried about that, yeah.
It's pretty casual. But like, you weren't other than your hands, but like there was a second where you were looking at them like, I don't want to rub this all over my robes.
I was reaching for my water skin. That's
Yeah.
what I was about to do.
But yeah. So you clean your hands and head back inside. It's about 8:30, 8:20, somewhere like that. So it's pretty late. I don't know how hungry you guys are.
I don't eat very
The
much.
food will be better. So, it'll be better than the end.
So, there are like, you guys have like barbecues like every night. There's a bunch of like picnic tables, and as you set everything out, there's giant platters that get set on. There's not vegetables, there's meat.
That's what I figured.
And other people bring out different other small like game mostly. Somebody has some venison, but like, and they bring out lots of different kinds of meat, and you guys kind of watch. It's probably a little bit weird for all of you, but it's like this big communal, and more and more and more Dragonborn come out. And there's some other things here and there, like, but this is the Dragonborn area. They're not strictly cordoned off or anything, but there's probably 45 to 60 maybe. At some point, your sister Vester and your brother Teldrir, wait, who was going to be? Cramrock's going to be really late tonight. Vester and Teldrir. Vester,
She's gold.
yeah, she's gold. She, they're like child free, kind of, like living that life. But she has had a long-term partner. And Teldrir, even though he's like after middle in the lower half of the age, he got married probably first out of everybody, and he's got like 5 kids. And
Wow.
yeah, so he always looks tired, but he's pretty happy. He works with your dad. Yeah, and before you know it, there's this whole community, and it's so weird. And you guys, roll me a perception check to see if you notice that his family has the crazy makeup of like colors and origins and stuff, and it's the only one.
Perception?
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Hold on.
Dirty 20.
I know my family.
Okay. Yeah, you clock
Also
it.
a dirty 20.
Both of you clock it.
15.
I would say that all 3 of you clock it. That everyone else, like if it's like a blue and a black, then their kids are blue or black. If it's gold, it's also the only. I would say you've probably mentioned at some point that your dad is copper. Like, maybe. Do you think?
Probably. I probably told them that on the way over. I was describing my whole family.
You also notice that like there are chromatic and metallic Dragonborn among them, but seems to be the only mixed pairing where one parent is chromatic and the other parent is metallic. And you don't know, and he probably doesn't either, like why or what, but that's
Yeah,
just
they're just parents to me. So.
just what happens. And yeah, it's a loud, rowdy.
I keep going to check and make sure they haven't been like
Crushed.
stepped on or punched or
I mean,
anything.
we're just sitting here with the table.
They get you some booster seats.
Yeah.
You get a couple of phone books.
Because they have kids, so this is a thing, and it's a real thing they have. And yeah, they probably get you some booster seats and kind of...
I feel like a child now.
It's just that one scene from Lord of the Rings.
You guys who got the dirty 20s also clock that Alibroth does seem a little out of place. They were friendly enough to him, and they're not ignoring him now exactly. But it's clear that he's left, and you don't know what it was like before he did. You feel very much a part of things, but also kind of separate.
I've been away for a while, but also coming to my own a little bit.
About... Let me see. What could you do? About, like, it takes a while to eat. About, like, 9:45 or so, your dad shows up. And your dad is, only 6'1". He's pretty stout, and he's pretty quiet. He shows up, and you recognize, maybe for the first time, that he's almost like an elder in this community. Like, things get a little bit quieter. He's not the most doting grandfather. He's not... But he's also tired. Long day. But, yeah. He shows up, and he just kind of, like, nods at you and digs into the food immediately. Your mom, who's always, like, kind of deferred to him, gives him... He has a table a little further back where everyone else has already finished eating and kind of gotten up. And so he kind of eats off by himself. It's not that unusual for your dad. It's just kind of... He doesn't like his job very much.
I'd like to register my astonishment that his dad and I are close in height.
You find yourself like...
Ronnie's tall, huh?
Ronnie's like 6 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
After he eats, which doesn't take very long, he comes over and he's like, "Son."
Hello, Father.
"Hello." And he looks at all of you and kind of like, each of you feel kind of measured. And he goes, "Hello."
Father, these are my friends, who I'm currently adventuring with. We're on a quest. This is Brana,
Alibroth farts.
Octavia, and Ronnie.
It's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Hello.
"Hello."
Hi.
Sistak. "Welcome. I'm glad you're safe." And he kind of turns around without another word and just like walks off.
Octavia all of a sudden feels very comfortable with that interaction.
I just kind of sit there like, yep.
Yep. It's very much your dad. And a little bit of that
Nothing's changed.
feeling of isolation comes back a little bit. You guys can roll me an insight check if you want.
Not that nice. Why? 12.
12.
It's okay. I'm not known for being insightful.
14.
I'll say with a 14. With a 14, you clock that when he's going back towards his home, that he stops briefly and interacts with Ilrak and Mithid both. And even River too. So you feel like Alibroth is a little more isolated from his dad, because it seems like he made a bigger effort for some of the others. And I would say all of you kind of clock that he walks with a little bit of a limp. This is a guy who's just lived. And it's very slight. It's just more like a hitch or a bad knee kind of thing.
Like he's been on his feet all day and his knee's giving him trouble kind of thing.
Yeah, old injury, motorcycle injury or something from a long time ago.
I probably take that all in and just go like, yep.
Is something wrong?
You okay?
Dad hasn't changed.
That was normal interaction with your father?
Yes.
I think I understand you a little better.
Normal in a good way or a bad way?
Or just
Bad way.
It's hard to be disappointed in something that has been this constant. He's the way he is. I accept him as my father.
I mean, you don't have any choice in the matter in that respect.
One day, he'll see me.
Your mom, like, she'd gone back to the house with your dad, kind of following him. You know she's about to help him put his feet up and whatever. And she comes back out and she comes up to you and she's like, well, who is staying? And she kind of pulls you aside a little bit and she's like,
Just the three of them. I suppose they could take, Iraq's family's quarters for the evening, considering they are gone.
I mean, if they want to sleep with Ilrak, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know how. I thought it would be a little bit more separate, like for. Oh well, no.
Like basically, what you know, because this is and you've grown up here, you know that like, Dragonborn, while they do have this separate like quarters, they spend a lot of time outside, and they're not big on like fluffy beds.
Oh yeah, they got bedrolls. So.
Yeah, and she goes, it's up to you. Like,
let me ask them how they would prefer. I'm gonna go back over to the guy.
You know that there's certainly space. There's space, but as far as like accommodations, is a little.
You all have seen how I'm accustomed to sleeping, correct?
Aye.
Loudly?
Besides loudly, how I don't prefer the luxuries that you might.
You also know that you're the quietest in your family.
Yeah, and also you complain of my sounds when I'm sleeping, but I don't think you would feel at all comfortable in Dragonborn quarters. I know you're like the beds and the blankets and
Quite fond of them,
not
yes.
a floor.
Yes, I think the inn is 20 minutes.
A bit of a walk, but yes.
I think that's okay.
You know that even when in-laws come, sometimes they stay at the inns. Like, it's pretty cheap. And
Whereas I think probably my old quarters are still open, maybe.
yeah, your room, like your mom has put some shelving in there and just making more spices and putting them up, but you still have like your little like very, very, very long twin bed is still in there.
If you all do go back to the inn, I'll be there sharply for breakfast.
You want to meet us there? Okay, that's absolutely fine.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool.
We're gonna go have fun with your family.
Thank you for coming to meet them. It meant a lot.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, of course. Your family's very interesting.
They're very colorful.
I'm gonna go out and make sure my quarters are ready for me. I'll attend to that. If you all leave before, I will see you in the morning.
I think we'll head out. Thank you.
I'm gonna go talk to my dad.
Okay.
Real quick, do we get like pounced as we leave?
I've warned them, but
You notice that like Mythid's like clocking you sometimes, but like she's not gonna jump a stranger probably. So you feel a little uneasy when you're like moving locations around, but you're
She's
like
just watching us.
she's just watching, and she's doing it in a very like obvious way to make you a little bit nervous.
Like one of those like.
Just straight up like
They usually have
dead
like, a
eyes.
straw like directly up the
every
nose.
now and then just to kind of
Like, she'll lean over and say something to River, and her eyes never leave, like, staring straight at you, so.
If we don't,
I will wave to them whenever we leave.
She kind of, like, jerks her head, but River waves back. Very fluid, very, like, graceful, like seaweed.
Okay.
I'm getting the couple from Deadpool vibes. The, what's her face? The girl and her girlfriend. It's like, hi, Wade.
Negasonic and
Yeah.
Yukio.
Yukio.
Hi, Yukio.
Hi, Wade. Hi, Wade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just, I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna go and see what Dad's up to.
Your dad is sitting there doing basically a Sudoku puzzle. Like, you know that it drains a lot of his social energy to, like, be the head of anything. He never really signed up to be in charge of talking to people all day. But he also, like, you feel like you never really know where you stand with your dad. And he looks up when you enter, and he nods at you, and it's clear he knows you're going to come, like, sit down. But he just kind of, he looks back at the puzzle, and it feels not unfriendly, but he's just kind of sitting there.
How are the mines, Father?
They're... kind of growls a little, and he's like, it is hard to know what will happen with the value, and we don't know exactly what belongs to whom right now. They are fine. There have been no incidents as of late.
It's good to hear. And how have you been?
I'm getting old.
How's your leg?
It's like it's getting colder.
Do I know how you sustained that injury?
You know that he, that you've heard references to how he met. Your mom's talked about them meeting in, like, a wilder time, but you don't know what it really means.
I'm curious why I wouldn't have, like, offered to fix that.
When it comes to really old injuries,
Okay.
you think that a greater restoration maybe, which is in very short supply, but short of that, that general healing spells, this is more about, like, bones that didn't heal exactly
And I
right a
want, like,
long time ago.
Lesser restoration. Right?
Yeah. So you know that it's pretty high level to undo it. This is partly just getting old.
Mhm.
He's like, helps to know when a blizzard's coming, you know?
Indeed.
I will say, you also know that he sends people in pairs about once a month to check. There are 3 other mines that are closed down. And, like, about once a month, somebody in pairs, he'll send somebody out just to check on it and make sure that everything's okay. So.
But I've been quite a few battles.
He actually kind of lays the puzzle down, and he looks up at you and he goes, really?
Yes, the
What have you fought?
And well, a couple of bandits here and there, and some banshees, and an obelisk, which was very difficult. It wasn't a complete victory, but we
What's
did hold
an
our own.
obelisk?
An obelisk?
Obelisk?
Oobleck.
Oobleck. I'm sorry.
Oblex.
It's an obelisk.
Oblex.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But also, you can say he said it right. He doesn't know what that is either.
Oh,
so the question stands.
Because I can't explain it myself, I'll just go in with my knowledge. I explain what that is.
Yeah, a giant gooey
Jason
thing.
knowledge, not so great.
Giant gooey thing full of skulls and faces. It's very
Screaming.
scary.
It sadly resulted in the death of one of our companions, but
Really?
through Bahamut, I was able to bring her back to life.
Roll an insight check.
Insight? Oh, dirty 20. Because she
Your
likes to say
dad doesn't know a lot about healing magic, but he knows, like, there's some understanding probably throughout the world of, like, raise somebody from the dead is a level that you had to get to. It's more powerful magic than you had access to, and he's somewhat aware of some scales of raising people from the dead, and he's like, so you have grown in your magic use.
I'm trying. Also, this plot armor has been rather effective.
Roll another insight check for that one.
Kick his ass.
That's a 26.
Holy.
I'm sorry, 27. Sorry.
What did you roll on the die?
19. My insight is +8.
You know that they didn't know whether it did anything.
That's why I said it like that.
And you think it was less from him from his perspective, it wasn't like a prank. It was like nobody has been able to make anything of this, so if it does anything, it would be found out in the context of adventuring. And he looks at the band and he goes, you were able to activate that? What does it do?
It pretty much makes everyone want to attack me and makes it harder for them to attack me.
Like being the youngest. It's a rare joke from your dad.
I'm kind of shocked that he would make that gag, yeah. Surprisingly, that's a good example, yes.
Interesting. I'm glad you were able to find some use of it. And you sit there and you pick up that your dad is interested in your battles, so you probably talk about it some, and it's the most engaged your dad has been in a conversation with you in a while.
Oh, and I'm going to show him, and I believe that Bahamut is with me, Father.
Let's see. Your dad, he kind of sits there for a second, and you know that your dad is not... You have to be stupid to deny the existence of gods in this universe. Like, that's insane. But your dad doesn't subscribe to any specific, like, deity or religion, really. And he sits there, and you see him almost, like, looking up, like he's looking past the roof at the stars for a second. And he goes... I don't know what to make of any of that, but if something is helping you, if he is helping you, then I have to say I'm glad it's a dragon for some reason.
Oh, yes.
And you know your dad had a little bit of trouble at first when River came into the picture, because everybody else had Dragonborn. Like, he felt like she might take his daughter away from him, because it was a whole different world. But he's stabilized some. He's gotten over some of his old-fashioned views, and he kind of understood a little bit about why you would want to, like, prove yourself and journey the world and help clear up some of the perceptions. And he's like, you know, they call Bahamut one of the lesser deities, but you know what? Fuck them.
Despite being seen by him, Father, I'm happy that you seem to see me.
You know, son, I'm actually happy that you left. Sometimes you can't find your own way in the city you were born in. So, I'm glad you left, and I'm glad you're surviving and you're finding your way in the world, it seems. And you wonder if, like, he wishes anybody else had left. Like...
Well, they say sometimes you have to leave for someone to miss you.
That is true.
But I have missed you, Father.
And you see again that awkwardness, kind of like... Son? He kind of, like, uncomfortably looks back at his puzzle.
I pat him on the shoulder, and I leave.
Aww.
So your mom, who's kind of, like, hovering outside the door a little bit, like, not eavesdropping, but, like, oh no. Your dad talks pretty quiet. She might have been trying, but it's unlikely. It was more of, like, that. Even she treats your dad with a little deference and is like, so, guests? Is it... Who's staying? Who?
It's just me, Mother. The others, they may not be more accustomed to Dragonborn sleeping arrangements, so...
Your father snores like a freight train, and you know that your mom's actually louder than your dad.
I probably mentioned that, too. It's like,
She's like, I am a lady. She kind of huffs. And, but she seemed slightly relieved that she wasn't going to have to, like, host a thing.
I hate to put it off on her like that.
And she says, well...
Oh, if it's just you sleeping, you know.
You know, it's 9:30, so we're about to turn... We're very old.
I'll probably go back out to the yard for a little while. I'll probably give my mom
Here's a new Tarzan show is on.
Just let her know.
we go to sleep after Colbert.
I'll probably be leaving very early, Mother, but I will be back.
She goes, okay. And in one of the rare, signs of affection, she packs you, a lunch with some jerky, a bunch of jerky, and she tells you a little bit about the new flavor, and she's like, I'll leave it right here. And gives you a hug, and says, thank you for coming, and your friends seem lovely.
I probably take in that mom hug just, a little bit long, because it's a mom hug.
She lets go first, but she gives you a second, and you're like, families are weird, but this actually went a little better than you'd hoped.
Yeah.
Around, and this probably close you out for the evening, around probably 11:30 as you're starting to go, kind of settle in, you hear, the door, you're sleeping, where you're sleeping is at the far end of the house, and Cramrick's house is directly next to it. You hear the door open into his house, and then you hear some hushed voices, and then you hear him at your parents' door, and they just speak in hushed. It's not unusual. Nothing feels crazy, but you know that that your mom would have mentioned that you were here, and Cramrick, who probably gave you the most trouble, doesn't come say hi. He just goes back to his house, and you hear him put the people to bed, and you're like, well, you know.
Same old, same old.
Yeah. Even his kid is a brat. Can't imagine the in-laws were that happy to see him.
Well, yeah. That went better than I thought, so yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just take my rest. And
okay. You guys head up to Inside Job, which sounds a little dirty, and I couldn't get away from that.
I can't get away from the Netflix show that's Inside Job.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's in... Anyway. Get it? Side jobs? It's great. They're all puns. They will always all be puns. So, you guys get back. What do you think you do?
If Ember's there, I'm going to exchange whatever information with her. I'm going to tell her that we may have a...
Well, she gave you her room number.
Yeah. So I'm going to kind of debrief, tell her we may have an ally in Strassus. His name is Astrophis, and just kind of debrief about any information that I think she might need.
Do you guys all go to the room? How does that work?
I would just kind of, if you want to, if you don't want to, if there's anything I might forget that you could,
Yeah, I'll go just to say hi to Ember.
Okay, this is being a fairly, civilized... They actually do have adjoining rooms, and her and Daniel are staying in, very, very small but adjoining rooms.
Yeah.
So he greets you guys, and then he goes to bed, because he had been up very early. And she's like... She listens to everything you say, and she's, kind of gravely concerned. She seems a little, heavier in her mind than she did when you got there. But she listens to where the king is and all the stuff, and she's like, I have not fought Oblix. It seems very scary.
Mm-hmm. It was awful.
I'd like to not do that again.
But also, Aliphin. It had Aliphin. And I don't know. I think he's still in the vault.
Aliphin is hundreds of years old. You think he is in vault?
I don't know. I don't know when he would have been in the continent before. I think he's been teaching for a very long time. I don't know how they would have come across each other unless it's something I don't know.
Maybe.
You haven't gotten any communications from him, have you?
We cannot communicate often. Mostly when we... There is draft of sort with Minty is every elephant is inside scoop. You are currents.
Scoop.
So, like, we would not... It's normal for
Yes.
us to not talk.
Yeah.
Now. But maybe, I do not know. And you notice that, like, it's a sobering thought, but, like, she's a little more professionally detached in some ways than you are. So she looks upset about it, but, like,
very professional.
It's not going to change her priorities.
Yeah.
How was your meeting?
There may be something in mind. Something... do not know what. Whatever taking... maybe not what is with King now. Do not know for sure.
I mean, whatever it is, we can handle it, right? With you by our side?
I hope. Like... you handle everything till you do not handle something. Like, everything before you handle. The thing you cannot handle, you cannot handle. I hope you have done, you all have done well.
Are you and Daniel coming with us?
She kind of glances over, drops her voice a little, and she's like, Daniel is garbage fighter.
Oh, okay.
We maybe want Daniel nearby.
Near what?
Nearby, but not
Nearby?
in mind fighting.
Not okay. I guess Daniel sucks. Okay. Well, it makes his capture actually going back. Yes, no, that makes sense.
He is spy. He's good at some things. He's not good at seeing danger come or defending self from basilisk or not great fighter.
For the other room.
No, for sure, he's not good at defending himself from basilisk.
No, he's good at being. People do not remember him. His main skill.
Yeah.
He has a very...
Nothing. It's just nothing.
It's just like. It's like a white bread sandwich.
Yeah.
Just like nothing.
Like a gray suit.
The grade.
She's like, but yes, if we leave, it will take several hours. We get to mine by lunchtime.
Have the king by dinner.
Sure. That is one thing that may happen. We'll see. So she actually got you guys another set of just the 2 rooms. Like her, and they put one of those cots in there that you get at hotels. So she doesn't ask or anything how you split it up, but there are 3 beds and it's close to them. Like
3
across
beds
the hall.
over 2 rooms.
Mm-hmm. It's weird not having Oliver out there.
It is. So someone has to sleep by themselves.
I'll sleep by myself.
You sure?
I'll be alright.
Okay.
Are you sure? You are blind.
I think I can manage.
You know they can see in the dark though.
Which is
That does help. That does help. Okay. All right. Yeah. We'll be.
So this inn has like a courtesy officer. Like you feel pretty safe. Ember tells you like they haven't had any trouble. She also tells you that when she goes in public, she's usually wearing a human version of her face on the off chance that anybody... Kalishtar are very close to elf or human passing. as a species, but just in case, it just takes down the sharpness of her cheekbones and like chin a little bit. But still, like, if somebody knew her, they would recognize her for the most part.
Yeah.
Smart.
When Brana goes, or like, are we splitting up now, or
Yeah.
Going to bed.
Sure.
he's gonna look at his knife a little bit before he goes to bed because it was his sister's. Being with Alabroth's family is making him miss his family because he didn't leave and tell them.
Make
Well, I mean, he left a note.
He left a note. Make an investigation check for me.
Hey, a roll that's in the double digits. I'm so excited.
Too bad it's a 10.
No, it's actually
An 11.
19.
With a 19, and because like you've never sat there and just like inspected this before, it has like a little leather sheath to it, and as you're looking at it, like you kind of, it has a snap strap on it. You snap it open and you kind of catch it, and you look on the inside of the leather and you see a tiny heart, and that's it. And you don't know for sure who it was that left it, or even if it was for you, but it's there, and you're like,
Put the knife back and
you feel a sudden like weird sense of loss, and you find yourself wondering for the first time, like, what happened to the Celestial in your head, because that wasn't entirely you. Somebody mourns something inside of you, and
Yeah.
Brana might have a brief cry as the Celestial's also mourning something, and you're just like, one of those, like, you're not entirely sure what happened, but all of a sudden you're crying, and then you're like, I have to stop this. I have to go to sleep. There's shit to do.
like as I'm like when I lay down, it's like, you know, you can talk to me if you need to talk to someone. We're kind of stuck together.
You almost hear like a, and that's it.
All right. Well,
You have like a lot of dreams that night. There's something that like my mind does. I think most people's do this though, that where it's like trying to trend towards nightmare, a lot of it, but never quite gets there. As you're like, they're not very restful sleeps when you're like, don't, is this bad? This is bad. This is gonna get scared, but it never quite goes there. And you wake up with a sense of foreboding that whatever comes next is gonna be a doozy. Like,
yeah.
but it's been nice to have some little bit of peace and quiet. Anything else? Okay, you guys wake up. We're gonna go ahead and set up a little bit of the mines, and then we're gonna save like the big encounter. So
Hit the save mark.
you guys get up the next day. Anybody do anything significant before you take off?
I just get up super early so I can get over there before they get up.
You do that. Your mom kind of doesn't sleep that well anyway, so she gets up pretty early too, and she cooks you breakfast, and she's like, I know you might also eat breakfast. Sometimes Dragonborn
Second
eat two
breakfast.
breakfasts.
Yeah, that's perfect.
And so she cooks you like some of the leftover meat, and
Take every bit of it.
you kind of revel in this like quiet early morning where you just feel your mom's a little more affectionate when there's not a lot of people around.
Uh-huh.
But she hands you your breakfast, and she's like good luck today.
I'll see you soon.
Okay. And she gives you a brief hug. It's never as long in the morning. It's just like and pats you on the shoulder and sends you off to your friends.
All right.
With your lunch. Don't forget your lunch.
Yes, I got my lunch. I'll make fun
I'm
of my
going to
lunch.
post a letter to
You
my
ain't gonna-
dad.
Brown
But I have no idea when it'll reach him because
You ain't
the
gonna get my
postal
lunch.
service is just so
Yeah.
hit or miss.
There's a like drop off box in the inn because of that. What does the letter say?
It just kind of miss you. I'm okay for now. describe in the vaguest, like frustratingly vague, the vaguest terms possible what we're doing, because I don't think I can actually tell anyone what we're doing. Which is why it's so
Sending it to the
frustratingly
post
vague.
office would be.
It's like
probably not a
redacted
good
in the
idea.
military when you're on. They won't let you send a lot of
Yeah.
I'm about to do a thing, and it's gonna be pretty cool.
No, it's like, not even that it's gonna be cool. Like, we're going on, you know,
quest.
a big adventure, and it's gonna be a little dangerous. But I'm sure we'll be okay.
You feel confident, or fairly confident, that it will get there. It's more like, how long will it take?
Yeah.
Since there's not fighting, and you probably stay a little bit more vague to make sure, because if they find something they're not supposed to be in a letter, they're just going to throw it away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you stay as vague as possible, and then you're like, I think this will probably get to him. This will probably get to him.
Yeah.
And post the letter. Octavia, you get up and probably stretch some or whatever.
Yeah, do my little,
Sun salutation.
Yeah.
That's almost exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah. Just do a, what are they called? Katra? Kata.
You can't do it in the room because it's so small. So you go out in the hallway and you see, like, at the end of there's like a little balcony. You guys are on the second of 3 floors, and you come out there and you see Ember. She's out there and she's doing something very similar. You guys have a nice little, like, you think Octavia, I feel like Octavia tries to talk, maybe.
I think my insight's good enough that I'm
Okay.
like,
And you feel welcomed out there,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
yeah. And so you
not
guys
the
have
vibe.
a nice little moment of just doing that, stretch out, and you guys head up to the mines. Nothing happens before lunch. The first part, you get to go up in these little pulley things.
Oh, that's
and
fun.
yeah, it's like a good probably 60 feet to the next tier. Not insignificant, especially if you're diving off it into water. Anyway, and you get to that, and then, like, there's basically one big road, and you guys take the smaller side road that goes off. And by the time you get to lunch, you're in snow. You're past the snow cap, the tree line, whatever it is. What were you gonna ask?
Oh, I was gonna say, are we supposed to be cliff diving?
No.
Okay.
That's just something I did in my youth, and 60 is way more feet than I thought it was. High enough for water to give you black eyes. Anyway, so you head up there. You make it there about lunch, and it's kind of boarded off. And actually, I think we're gonna stop her right there. Kind of want to bust out my map and some stuff, but, like, we're gonna wait till next time. So,
All right.
that's where you end at lunchtime on the way into the mines, or you're just gonna find the king and the kids, and it's gonna be fine.
Pressing F to doubt.
I did tell my dad that I would send him another whenever we were on our way back.
That's good. If you get the king, you probably even get, like, his seal on and get it to travel real fast. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Keep your heads up and join us for our next D&D session, as we always like to say around here.
Keep on nerding.
I'll just move my hand down. There. You
Upkeep
can't
this
see me.
map. This is
Clock?
mine now.
It's my map now.